Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Impact Funding Summit. We've had an interesting morning, and we're going into a few more wonderful sessions into the afternoon and towards the evening. I have with me here Vishal Naik, the CEO of Meraklis, and Iftikhar Patan, my co-founders. I'm Durga Das, and I'm going to jump straight in because we have limited time to share our thoughts on a few things. Gandhiji said, be the change you want to see in the world. And to all great things that need to be created, change has to come from oneself. So I thought I would start with that change that comes from oneself. I wrote something that I would like to share with you. We're at this point in time where we're talking about a new normal, and I would say we are creating a new world from the new zero. I have 6, 7 points which I'll quickly run through to share what those thoughts are. To begin with, when you want to create change, the first thing that I think you should consider is disrupting yourself. When you're disrupting yourself, taking the right risks. This is a tricky one. So what is right? What is the risk to take? It's hard to tell. I personally work with my gut. My instincts tell me. If experience is a teacher, then that's the instinct I will rely on. If I've not had enough experience, then I will rely on the right risk guidance from one that has. A risk is a risk is a risk, like a rose is a rose is a rose. There's always a sense of opportunity, of belief, yet a sense of adventure, of thrill. If we view risk from a positive frame of mind, then what we try, whether we succeed or fail, we will still win because that journey will have taught us something. Taking the right risk is also something we do with a certain discipline. We assess what we have, where we are, where we want to go, and there's several ways of achieving it. And then guided by some analysis and gut, we just go with it. You cannot lose in the end. The journey will be satisfying. The second point I'd like to share is playing to your distinctive strengths. We all have strengths as well as weaknesses. In times of uncertainty, of situations we're not familiar with, we must focus on what our strengths are and work on ideating from that strength. Use what we have to deal with the now, and don't let weakness or fear stop the forward movement, because nothing else is possible. Once we fall into that abyss of fear, it's a Herculean task to recover. Our strengths, especially our combined strengths, can give us tremendous possibilities to discover. Embracing constraints, they say love your enemies, but your enemies more. They say love your friends, but enemies more. The power of acceptance can move mountains. If we see challenges and constraints as a fuel to propel, then these are welcome friends, not enemies. Embracing these constraints and bringing them close give us a better perspective on how to overcome them. If we run far away from these difficulties, it's hard to see them clearly, and hence we will find it hard to win over them. There is nothing that can be taken for granted, so we have to battle entitlement. Nothing is due to us. We need to work from a position of here I am, now what? Stepping back from moving forward. Review where we are. Step back, take perspective, figure out the steps forward without hanging on to what we believed, what we owned, and we feel will be lost if we change. We have to let go of our comfort zone. There is always a possibility of failure, so we have to plan. But with the right attitude, we can take any situation into potential possibility for a new tomorrow. If our current plan fails, as I'm sure our past plans are imminently failing due to this unprecedented situation, we must be prepared to have an open mind to pivot, to look forward, to hear new views, and quickly draft a new plan to move forward. Letting our strategy emerge is a very important part of this final journey. Everything will eventually fall into place when the dust settles. If we have thought positively, believed in ourselves, stayed open to new ideas, and made a strategy that we will feel will work, then let us be patient. Allow it to emerge and guide us to refining it further if required. Let us not push for quick results, because our fears that if not now, then all is lost, everything will be lost. There is everything to gain with patience, and change comes from within us. I hand you over to Iftikhar.
Thank you, Durga. Very well said. And that's what I think Meraklis is all about. We're seeing a lot of unprecedented things happening right now. And that is sort of like you call in Hindi, there is a manthan, you're shaken up. And it is time to retrospect, to look behind. So it's quite ironical that today we need a lot of NGOs to do work. and we are trying to talk about the basics that we were taught when we were younger. And if you look at India historically, something like CSR, when the term was not there, we've all been doing this. So if you look at the Mauryan dynasty and Kautilya, philosophers like Kautilya, they emphasized the importance of doing good and taking care of the poorer class. And initially, it was driven by a lot of religions, like all of us know. So, zakat, we spoke about, which is what Islam basically followed. A part of the percentage of whatever earning you have should be shared with the poorer class. Then we had Dharmada. The Hindus believed in Dharmada, where again alms were given. So initially they built temples and shelters for the poorer people, and we have the equivalent of that in the Sikhs. Sikhs as well did the Shant, and so on and so forth. But if you look at CSR, though the term is new for India, it is not new. And between, like, if you look earlier days, before 1850, the way the CSR was done was totally different. Then in the colonial era, it was different. When the Brits came in, they taught us a different way of doing it. But most significantly, Gandhiji emphasized, and he regarded the industries to be the temples, our temples here. And he said that he gave the concept of trusteeship to us. He said that you should form trust and do good for the poorer sections of the society. Those days, the PSUs didn't do well. So the expectation from the private sector was obviously much larger in terms of what they could contribute to the society at large. And in 1965, more significantly, so they formed a national workforce around CSR, where the politicians, the academia, and the business people came together, and they wrote a charter in terms of what should be done for the upliftment of the society. And that's how all this began. And then in 1990s, the most revered groups, as we know them, the Bajajes, the Tatas, the Birlas, the Modis, these guys then formally started the concept of CSR by establishing trusts in the country. And that's how the journey basically began. Then in the recent past, India became one of the first nations to mandate CSR, that is 2012, 2013, where we were mandated to spend a part of the earnings that we have for CSR purposes. And from then on, if you look at the 4 years, the spend has been pretty impressive. So at least about 12,500 each year. In 19, it dipped to about 8,500, and then COVID hit. So there are a lot of things that are happening, and they're also trying to set up a stock exchange specifically for CSR as well, and that is obviously going to help a lot. So in these unprecedented times, there has to be someone who will get all the elements and this ecosystem together. And I think that's where all of us, Durga, me, and Vishal, come together, and we've decided to form a platform that will get all the players onto one single platform, one of the biggest platform in the country, to get people to work together and to get transparency. So I'm going to leave my colleague and friend Vishal to speak a little more about Meraklis.
Thank you, Iftikhar. I think, first of all, it's a pleasure, and I really appreciate everyone's time being on this summit. I think we've got a fabulous response, and we'll be doing a lot of things around this. So I think in this tough times, right, before I come to what Meraklis will be doing and what we're doing, I think it's a troubling time in terms of very tough times, but I think social purpose organization, both the non-profits and for-profits, have actually come to the fore doing a lot of things. I think all of us, and I consider myself since last 2 years part of this community that we have, is that everything happens. All these organizations have been always there on ground. You have been on ground trying to help relief during the floods, during the all the cyclones, all the things which is happening. But COVID has really given a complete different trigger. We are completely in focus. There's a lot of innovation, a lot of things, a lot of pivoting which is happening. And I think this is an opportunity to build a new model for this sector. It's an opportunity to build a new collaboration model to work with this. And this is what exactly Meraklis is going. And I was interacting with some of the, I think, people in audience as well some days back. We promised in this conference that uh, we will not use this conference as a way to sell the platform. And this is not a conference that we are looking to put this thing. But at the same time, I'll talk a little about Meraklis and do this thing. So what we are doing is we are basically kicking off two things. One is an initiative which is to create community. And we don't want to call people beneficiaries or anything. It's a community to work together. And this is what the conference is about. And this is the one that we are kicking off with this conference and this summit that we have organized with a lot of people, a lot of this thing, a first for us and a first in many cases, which is there. And we are going to continue post this conference to engage with a lot of people in this thing. This will be a completely open community, digital community that we are building, which will be able to make people talk to each other, NGOs talking to each other, service providers talking to NGOs, social entrepreneurs talking to each other, thing, angel investors talking in this. And this is going to be a very innovative solution that we are coming, and this will be a completely open platform that we are looking to do. So this is an initiative that we are looking to do for a long term and not just a summit that we're doing. Coming back to Meraklis, just to give you a quick listing, on Meraklis, we are going to launch our platform in the next couple of months, July and August, where we are building a completely collaborative model. Our mantra or our mission is to scale the social purpose organization on the ground using convergence and collaboration, and that will be led by a cutting edge technology that we are putting in place, or we have already put in place, and we are working with some of the people right now. So we're going to work on three pain areas in the sector that we have been talking for 2 years. We have been building this for last 1.5 years. We have done a lot of research, a lot of people, and so there are three pain areas that we are going to be addressing. I think the first one, the biggest one, which is right now, and which always been has been a this thing, which is fundraising, be it in terms of grants or donation, or in terms of impact investing, right? In social entrepreneurs who are doing amazing work on the ground in India. The second one is if you have funds and if you are looking to do a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 NGOs do not have the resources to execute that, or in this times they do not know how to partner with people, or how they don't know how to reach out to people to re-strategize and redesign their program, look at their relevance in this thing. So this is where we create, helping bridge that gap in terms of getting that things available, whether you're a social entrepreneur or NGO, that will be made available through this platform. And the last bit is, I think, although I think we are now going to digital since COVID has come, and this is a good form of evidence of being online, and all the NGOs and companies, social entrepreneurs actually are going online, and many of them didn't know how to do it. And even if you go online today, to make yourself visible using social media is expensive because you don't have that kind of followers already, and there's a lot of things that you need to do. So that is another gap that we'll be working to address, and there's a fantastic innovative solution that will this thing. Majority of our platform will be completely open and free for people to come in and use. We want NGOs talking to NGOs, citizens, investors, and everybody working on a single platform, and we want to build that community together. I think one of the pre-recorded talks that you will listen to, and I want to quote Mr. Paresh Paranis, who's the CEO of Piramal. He said, we have to now move from projects to platforms, and I think this is what we are enabling. Because I think all the things we have to come together, and if people have to come together like the way they have come in COVID times, it requires platforms. And I'm not talking about Meraklis platform. I think it requires platforms to do things in education, to do things in healthcare, do things in rural livelihood. And I think there's a lot of things that we can do if we come together and we have the right platform. It may be driven by a lot of cutting edge tech, or it could be a simple thing where we come and connect together. I think we have been working quite a lot in the sector. Some of the parts of it have been very technology phobic. We are going to move that towards connecting together and working together like we have come in this COVID times. Just before we close, we would love to, because we've got fantastic audience over the last 1 year, 1 day and today. We would like to hear what are your challenges, right? What is that you want to, in the collaboration mode, if you can just put it in the chat or questions, or and let us know what is that you would love to, if there's a platform which enables you to solve these 3 areas, what is it? And we would invite you post this conference when we actually do to come and give us feedback on our platform, and there we'll be sharing actually what our platform does in this thing. So we'd love to hear from you questions, queries, or this thing that you want to see, and or you need help right now on ground. So if you can just put it in chat and just let us know how this thing and what we do from here on. Durga, if you could just add in something. Sorry.
No, we're just looking forward to the next day and a half of this summit. Congratulations to Vishal and his team. So excited by the participation that I've seen so far, and I'm sure this is an exciting start to what we will keep doing to bring this community together. So thank you all very much from Meraklis.
Yeah, so I just like to add one or two small points that I've read that there are about a lot of NGOs. 23% of the people working in NGOs have been told to go home. So at this point of time, we need them. At the same time, they don't have any money. They don't know how to raise funds, and they need a lot of help. So I want to assure you that Meraklis is with you in your endeavors and your difficult times. And the other thing is, I was discussing with Swati Mandela, Nelson Mandela Foundation, and there is we've seen that there are a lot of people working in silos, and there is no exchange of knowledge and learnings from each other. So that we are extremely open for. And like Vishal said and Durga said, we are ready to listen to your thoughts and your ideas, and we invite you to reach out to us beyond this summit, and we'd like to work with you, work for you, and build the community together.
Well said.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Iftikhar. Thank you, Durga. And I think there was a question about what is your roadmap. As I said, I think this specific conference, we don't want to put that out because this is more of an initiative. But post this conference, we will be actually getting back to everyone. We're connecting. We'll be sharing our roadmap in the next 6 to 12 months. There's a lot of things which are coming out, and we will definitely like to talk and this thing. So do reach out to us and talk about things that you would like help on or something that we could do in this space. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, and please enjoy the remaining conference.